Oh my word. What is going on, everybody? Long time no see. Welcome to today's installment of Mike's Vehicle Vlogs. Thank you for joining me today. It has been over 3 weeks at this time since I've done any kind of vlog. I kind of gave you guys that warning in the previous vlog that I was going to kind of be a little MIA here and there, for the unforeseeable future. Got some other things going on. Haven't had a whole lot of car stuff to really do. And I also am putting more focus on mine and my brother's music project, Adams, A-T-A-M-S. Our album was released last week, and we are doing some, promotion stuff for that. We got a show coming up in the middle of April that we have to get ready for, so yeah, and I've just kind of been busy with that, and just kind of taking things a little slow here and there. But I am back today because we are going to do some maintenance on the Civic, which I am driving now, the 2017 Honda Civic LX. Honestly, there will be a review, an ownership review coming up also. I could do that one today. I might film that one later today, now that I think about it, if there's still time. It's a beautiful day for it. The car's filthy because of the leftover salt and stuff from all the snow. But I want to take care of this maintenance first because she is honestly a little overdue for this oil change. I'm a little upset at myself. So yeah, we are almost 400 miles overdue. So yeah, I wanted to change the oil today since it is a pretty decent day weather-wise. It's still a little cold. We have some sun. The sun is definitely out, but don't let the sun fool you. It's warm in here, but outside it's still pretty cold. 38 degrees. And it's a little bit breezy. So yes, it's colder than it looks outside. That's not going to stop me though. So I'm doing the oil change today, and we're going to attempt to do the CVT fluid change as well. The transmission fluid in this particular car. I'm gonna try to do it, using the, with the car up on the jack. The reason why I'm not gonna do it on the ramps is because I don't think all of the fluid is going to leave the transmission if, half of the car is up and the other half is not. So I'm gonna use the jack to get under there to open the plug, and then we're going to lower the car down on the ground to let the rest of the fluid, kind of come out of it. Hopefully this will go according to plan. The actual servicing of the transmission on this car is not that difficult at all. It has a normal drain plug like your oil pan does, so you just have to crack the drain plug open, let all the fluid run out, put the plug back in, and then you fill it up from the top of the transmission. The fill port on this, on the top of the transmission, is a little difficult to get to, but it really isn't all too bad as long as you have a long enough funnel, and hopefully I do have a long transmission funnel here at the house. Hopefully it'll be long enough to reach the fill port on this. So that's either here or there. We're gonna get it done, and yeah, so the reason why I'm doing it now, it's actually not due for another 5,000 miles at this point. So when I bought the car, I actually serviced the car when I worked at the Honda dealership before I bought it. So it had the transmission fluid changed at around 51,000 miles. And like I said, we're at 75,000 now. So technically I can go till about 80,000, you know, which is when I was originally planning on having it changed. But just because it is pretty close, and that fluid is very important to this transmission, you know, the longevity of this transmission. Honda service does require it to be changed every 30,000 miles. So 30,000 would be coming up. Technically, I'm changing it at around 25,000, which is not going to hurt anything. The sooner the better. Some people, you know, think that it's kind of crazy or ridiculous that the fluid has to be changed so often. Just because of the type of transmission that it is. You know, it's a CVT transmission. It is not your conventional automatic transmission. A lot of CVTs do require the fluid to be changed more often, and honestly, that could be the reason why a lot of CVTs fail, is because that is an aspect that may go unnoticed, you know. So 30,000 miles is the Honda service interval for their CVT transmissions, and we are coming up on, you know, we're over 25,000 now on the current fluid. So we're just going to go ahead and change it today and get it over with. Plus, I also have a little bit of a trip coming up in a few days, like a 2-hour drive here and there. So I want to make sure that, you know, we do have some pretty decent fluid in the transmission, as well as the oil, which is another reason why I want this oil done also. So that is it. Enough of me talking. I'm actually out here. We're going to get some lunch. I also am driving the Civic because I want to get all the fluids, you know, obviously warmed up and circulated. Then, you know, we'll, by the time we get home and eat and come back out, you know, the car will be cooled off to a degree, but at least we had everything moving for a while, and then I can get to all this maintenancing. So I'll see you guys here in a bit. All right, folks, so here we are under the Civic. This is the 2-liter, by the way, the non-turbo engine. We're getting ready to do the oil change. You guys have seen me go through this before. But, you know, here's our transmission pan. I'll try to put it in another direction here. So, what we're going to be doing when we get to this part of our service is, right here is the drain plug of the transmission. You just put your 3/8 socket in there, like your ratchet, and break it loose that way. I did forget to get a crush washer for this, so we're gonna have to reuse that one. As much as I'm against reusing that, we're gonna have to do it, unfortunately, because I don't have another washer. I completely forgot to get one for that. So what you would do typically is, you know, we're going to obviously undo this to drain all the fluid out of it. Then we're going to go on top, put fluid in it, and then over here, this thing right here, yeah, that right there, that's the check plug. So what you would do is, you know, take that plug out, and if you had fluid run out of it, like a lot of fluid, then you overfilled the transmission. If you have no fluid coming out of it, then the transmission is still not full enough. What you would want to see if you undid this plug here is just the tiniest little stream, like just, you know, almost little droplets come out of there. You don't want to see like a whole rush of fluid, and obviously you don't want to see no fluid because it's still not full enough. You would just want to see a little trickle of fluid come out of there. Because of our situation, I'm not doing that. What I'm going to do is we're going to drain all the fluid out of it. This transmission, I believe the exact spec for this transmission is 3.9 quarts of fluid. And I have a jug that is full of 4 quarts. So we're going to drain it. We're going to measure what comes out of it. I have a jug specifically to measure, you know, what comes out of this thing, and it should be in the vicinity of 4 quarts. So if we are at the 4 quart mark, which is the drain and fill spec, like I said, 3.9, we should be good. That extra 0.1 quart is not going to hurt anything. So, but that's what I did, rather than, you know, have to do this. This is something that's easier if you have the vehicle in the air at level, you know, and obviously on ramps we can't do that. But we'll get to that here in a sec. So we'll go ahead and get the oil drained out of this thing. Alright, here we go. Last oil change was in September, right before our Myrtle Beach trip. That trip alone was about 1,500 miles, so, and I did change the oil a little earlier that time because it was coming up on needing changed, so I definitely wanted to make sure it was changed before we left. I got a new toy for the oil filters here at home. I got me a jaw to grab the oil filters instead of using the pliers. I have a pair of these I have one of these at work, and I use it on just about every car. This one's a little loud and loose. It's just the Harbor Freight version. Hopefully it'll work out okay. But it's the first time we get to use it here. Might need 2 hands. Oh wait, there we go. I tightened. Oh yeah. That's a little bit easier than using the jaw. Alright, so we got our filter on. Don't forget to you know, lube up the ring on the filter. We put our drain plug in. Don't forget to remove the old crush washer before putting your new one on. You don't want to double gasket that because you're gonna have a problem. These drain plugs have a torque spec of 31 foot-pounds. We will torque this to 31. It's a weird angle. There we go. Alright, 31 foot-pounds. Again, I am unprepared. We do not have any brake clean, unfortunately. So we'll just wipe this off as best we can. Wipe this off here where it ran from the filter housing. What we're going to do now is, you know, we're going to go up on top, put oil in it, obviously. We're going to leave this cover off, unfortunately, so I'm going to have to put the car back on the ramps when we are 100% done to get the shield back on. So we'll leave the shield off. We'll back the car down off the ramps once we have it running with oil. And then I'm going to have to go in the house and get our jack. We will jack the car up on the side here to get back to the plug. We'll let it start to run out. And then we will lower the car back to the ground and, you know, wait for the rest of the fluid to, you know, come on out. So as usual, we got the clean bulk oil, 4.4 quarts exactly, of 0.20 full synthetic oil. Alright, I'll go and start it up. Make sure this is down. Turn that off. Alright, so we got oil. Let's go ahead, and back the car down off the ramps. Nice and carefully. There we go. Alright, and we'll go ahead and shut it off now and check our level. But we should be good. You guys can see, probably not, it's a weird angle, but we're good. We're in between the marks. So 4.4 quarts of oil. Now it's time to do the transmission. Alright, so we've got the car up pretty dramatically at this point. So hold on, let me readjust this mat here real quick. Alright. So once again, the plug's right there. You just have to take, you don't really need the extension. I don't know why I thought I had that on there. But this just kind of wedges in there. You might have to hit it a little bit because of the corrosion. Here we go. And this might shoot out pretty quick. If you have the plug open, it'll shoot out really quick. If the plug's not open up on top, it might just kind of trickle out. Not trickle, but yeah. So there we go. We're starting. Yeah, like that. Still looks pretty decent. It's a little darker than the new stuff. But it looks pretty good. This is a magnet here on the bottom. Doesn't look like there's really anything sticking to it, but we're going to wipe it down. Yeah, if you had the thing open on the top, this thing would have probably been trickling out by now instead of doing all this, you know, suction type stuff. Okay, so we're nearing the end right there. So I'm going to go back over to the jack and we'll just lower the car down a little bit and get the, you know, whatever's left there. Whatever may be left in there, you know, out. Yeah, I don't know if that really made all that much of a difference or not. But just in case, like I said, and then we have to reuse this washer, unfortunately. So what I'll probably do is I'll probably tighten the plug to spec, but then I'll take the ratchet and maybe just give it a little more crush this time around. Here's the stuff that wiped off of the inside of the plug, the magnetic part. So that's good to go. It never empties all the way out. You can kind of hear it trickling still.
it'll never fully empty. So usually, like right about now is when I would probably put the plug back in. So I think we're good. We got, you know, the majority of all that out. Let's go ahead and raise it back up and put that plug back in. Okay, and then, like I mentioned, the torque spec on this plug is roughly around the same as the drain plug, like 31. I don't remember offhand now, but we're just gonna tighten it to the 31, and then, like I said, I'll give it, you know, an extra, just a little extra snug for that, you know, unfortunate reusable crush washer this time. Okay, so it's already pretty much at 31, just because, you know, it's a bigger plug. So I'll just take the little ratchet here and I'll give it just an extra snug. That should be it. Just to get a little more extra crush out of that washer this time. So, alright. Now we get to play the fun part. Getting to the actual drain or the fill on this particular model is a little challenging, but we can do it, and I'll show you how. Let's go ahead and dump this out and see how much we had, so we know, you know, to put in about the same amount that came out, obviously. It looks like about a little over 3 actually came out of this, which is interesting. But that's okay. So, you know, if we could be a chance that maybe it didn't all come out again, you know, like I said, because of the angle that we had it at. We did have it on the ground pretty level, you know. Okay, I think what we're gonna do is I will fill up the transmission. I'll put all of the 4 quarts in it. You have to run the transmission, you know, to check it anyway. So we'll do that. We'll let the car run. We'll get it through the gears, and then I guess we could always, you know, raise it back up like this. We can loosen this plug here, put it back down on the ground, and just, you know, we'll listen for the you know, level, you know, the trickle. If it sounds, you know, pretty heavy, or it looks pretty heavy, then, you know, it's overfilled. When it sounds like a steady little, you know, trickle, then we know we're in a pretty safe zone. Then we could put that plug back in. Again, there's a crush washer on that plug that we don't have a replacement for, but that's okay. We'll make it work. So let's go back up on top, lower the car down, and let's put fluid in it. So that fill plug is pretty much in the vicinity here. You can see the shifter linkage right there, and it's pretty much like under the shifter linkage. So what we need to do is we need to get in. We got the parking brake on, and we need to get this car out of park. Make sure your parking brake is on. Ours is on. Just, you know, get it out of park. And then let's see, I forget where the best position is. Wow, the lighting is terrible over here. Yeah, you can see it now. I think. Come on. Through here. It's that thing right there. Yep. So we're going to need some pliers. So it's almost directly under the airbox. And if you have the, like I said, the shifter linkage out of park, you can get to it a little bit easier. So the lighting is awful. Let's try the curved ones. Might have some better luck with the curved ones. Yep, there we go. Pull it out. And there we go. Then we gotta get the funnel down on there. You can see the opening now is better. And then we can go ahead and fill it up. The funnel that I have at work is a lot better for this. So in this case, I loosened up the airbox, the top of the airbox, and I was able to wedge it down. And you can see where the tip of the end of the tube is going right into the transmission. I want you guys to know this also. So there is a sticker on here, Honda HCF 2 fluid. That honestly is the only type of transmission fluid that should be in this transmission. You may not have as much luck with aftermarket fluids for CVTs, so it is best recommended to stick with the Honda HCF 2. Do not be alarmed, this is not coolant. It is HCF 2 fluid. Again, this came from bulk. 4 quarts exactly has been pumped into this. I'm probably gonna need both hands because I don't want this to dump in there too quick. You want to dump this in really, really slow. That's one of the reasons why it's very watery. It will run everywhere. Unfortunately, with this bottle, it was filled up to the brim. Don't forget to wipe the plug off also, like the ribbed area. Get all the grease and dirt off that. Go ahead and get this out of here. There we go. And we get to play the game of putting that, that plug back in. Sometimes if you try to pre-angle this, you can kind of get it to go right where you need it to go, like, oh, it bent. If my pliers were a little longer, this would also be easier. There we go. Can you see it? I know the lighting, the angle is awful. Well, trust me. Alright, so we got it down in there. And that's it. Get this guy back in. Alright, so now we'll run it, get it through the gears, and then we'll do the I guess we'll have to do the check thing. I guess we could try to loosen it from here if we have to. There it is. I mean, that's always a possibility. We could do that. First matter of business. All right. Let's get that fluid pumping through that transmission. Another thing we're going to do, so if you look at the maintenance minder, I'm at 50%. We have A, which is usually the oil change. A service is oil and filter. And then the 1, in this case, means tire rotation. We're not doing the tire rotation today, obviously. I'll probably do it next oil change. But you can see that we don't have anything for our transmission fluid yet. So if the transmission fluid was due at the appropriate time, the number 3 would be there on the cluster. So it would be A1 for tire rotation and 3 for transmission fluid change. When I go to reset this with the cluster by holding this, it's going to erase everything, including that tire rotation. But obviously we're not doing a tire rotation today, but I want to clear the oil and the transmission. We should be able to do that with the Altel, I think. So I'm gonna try. I haven't had the Altel hooked up to this car yet since I've had it. So we're gonna hook the Altel up, and I'm going to see if there's a way for us to just clear the oil and the fluid change. So we'll do that right now while this thing's still warming up. Okay, let's do control unit. I think we want... Let's do body electrical. Let's see. A little slow she is. There we go, gauges. Okay, so if we go gauges, read codes, erase codes. See if this gives me anything here. Hot function. Reset with tool. Oh, there we go. This is what I was looking for. Okay, so this works. Alright. So the main maintenance, the oil, 50%. Item 1, which is the rotation, it's been 6,523 miles, according to that. Item 3, which is the transmission, so it says the transmission, 32,767 miles, which we know isn't true. It hasn't been in there for that long. looks like all the rest of them are set to that too. So what we want to do is we can clear this one. Oh, main maintenance reset must be performed first. Okay. So once, oh wait. Okay. Oh. Okay, so I think it resetted the transmission fluid. Doesn't look like it did. Well, it did say to do this one first. So let's go ahead and reset the oil. Wow. Alright, so the oil's done. You can see it changed to B, so that means the next service will be B. And that obviously had a long list of things to double check on. So if your Honda has B service up, that means not only oil and filter, but you know, have the brakes inspected and have a lot of other things inspected. Alright, so let's try to do this one again. It says reset procedure has been complete. It doesn't change though. Confused I am, and you can't check, you know, individual percentages. The nice thing about the upgraded trim is a lot of times you can adjust each individual maintenance, you know, through the thing. Let's go ahead and continue to get this warm. Alright, so I was able to get the check plug undone here at the top. So let's go ahead, now that you know we're at temperature, we're going to go through these gear motions real quick. We're just going to stop a few seconds in each gear. Everything's engaging, so like reverse, we felt reverse, so that's good. Okay, we got drive. We're going to go into sport. Then we're going to go into low. Then we're going to work our way back up. So back to sport. Back to drive. Back to neutral. Back to reverse. Back to park. And at this point, we can shut the car off. And then we can see if we have anything coming out of our plug here. Oh, the radiator hoses are hot. Come on. All right. You can see quite a bit ran out, so quite a bit is still running out. It's making a mess on the bottom of the pan. So that was a little full. Oops. I don't think we can see it. Oh, yeah. Alright, so it's steadied out. So I'm going to go ahead and get it back up in the air here real quick. Easier to tighten that thing from the bottom because I had a heck of a time trying to, you know, get it from the top. Got the crush washer. Where'd the plug fall? Jeez. Where did the plug fall? Oh man, it's sitting in the cradle. It didn't fall into the bucket. We're good. We should be all right. Whew. So now that that situation's been taken care of, oh man, we should know by now, you know, a lot of the stuff that we have to do at home doesn't go without there being some sort of, you know, some issue, some sort of mess, you know. So I left the bottom plate on for now, or left it off. I just want to take it, you know, for a drive real quick, kind of see how this, you know, stuff feels. So then when we get back, we'll put it back on the ramps and take care of the rest. What a disaster! Ugh, my poor driveway. So I don't really think we lost a large amount of fluid. I didn't expect the plug to not be in that drain pan, I will say. That was kind of weird. Because I would have obviously stopped it a while ago. But I don't think we lost anything significant. If this transmission had 3 quarts in it, I'm willing to bet that either, you know, it had just 3 quarts, or it didn't all drain out because of our, you know, the way that we had the car sitting. Because that was over full. We overfilled it, which is okay. We checked it the right way. We got it to a trickle, a little longer than I wanted, but I think we're okay. She feels fine at the moment. So yeah, I think we're okay. I think we're good. She feels normal. It warmed up substantially outside. It's 47 now. Jeez. I'm like actually warm in this coat now. It was freezing. What time? Oh, 5:04. Oh, we've been out here for a while. Been out here a lot longer than I wanted to be. But yeah, I think we're good. So I'm not feeling any weird jerks or anything. Our level should be pretty good. And I won't have to do this again until, well, the car will be over 100,000, you know, until, you know, the next time. So it's at 75, yeah, about 105. So maybe I'll do it at 100, since, you know, why not? Doing it at home really wasn't, you know, all too bad. A little messy, but it really wasn't all too bad. So even with the stuff, you know, that drained out of there, you know, we had maybe about here when we drained it originally, and this was the stuff that I dumped from the pan from, you know, checking the level, and it still didn't even reach where it should be. So I think we're in good shape where, you know, that is. Dump it into the recycling jug. There was a little bit of engine oil left in that pan too from something, so that CVT fluid was not that dark, you know. Ooh, gotta rinse my thing out when I get to work. This jug is strictly for used fluids. And yeah, so this is measuring 3.5, like 3.7 maybe. I don't know. We checked it manually. It would have been better. It would have felt better, if it had gone a little smoother. But I think we're still in good shape as far as where the fluid is in the car. It drove fine. And if it acts weird, then I'll just I could always add a little more fluid to it until it overflows again. And so I think she's fine now. All right. I'm gonna wrap it up. Ugh, what a mess. So that's it, guys. I'm gonna go in, shower, clean the rest of the stuff up. Honda Civic, 10th gen CVT fluid change. It's pretty standard across the board with a lot of Honda CVTs. The plugs might be in different spots here and there, but it's essentially the same concept. But that's it. So we're good now for about another 30,000 miles. And that's all I've got. So if you enjoyed this, thumbs up, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys sometime in the future. In the meantime, thanks again for watching, and take care.